Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Autobahn Country Club's live stream of our second Spec Miata race for the day. Today, I am Kyle Nato, and I am bringing you this race live along with my partner, Brad Beal. We are up in the announcer booth. As you can see, these drivers are starting to take the grid and onto the track behind that lovely Lexus LC 500 pace car. And now, if you tuned into our previous race just about an hour ago, you would have seen a fierce battle between 27 competitors. Again, we have 27 racers that are going to be taking the green flag this afternoon, but right now all eyes are on pole position of the 157 of Matt Alexander. His best lap time was a 1 minute 38 flat, blisteringly fast around Autobahn South Circuit. Now let's talk about Autobahn South Circuit. It is 2.1 miles, 15 turn track, and extremely technical, but also a whole lot of fun. These racers love driving this course. It features turn one, as you see right here in our camera angle. Turn one is a double apex corner, and it's going to be very interesting to watch as we get the green flag. The pace car is underway, ladies and gentlemen, and they will be doing 2 pace laps until the green flag drops, and that is when all hell breaks loose as these drivers do battle out for the podium for this race series. Now they are going out. As you can see, we're following them around through turns 3 and 4. Drivers are starting to warm up those tires. It is crucial to have these tires up to temperature before the race begins, so that way they are at their optimal temperature, which produces the stickiest amount of tread out on the track, allowing them to take these corners at such high speeds. Now, with me in the announcer booth, I have our very own Autobahn instructor Brad Beal, who is also a racer here. He's going to be giving you some insight, and let's talk about the mental focus right now, that what these drivers are thinking about going out on this pace lap. Brad?
Yeah, this is a time when you're getting your head right for getting ready to race, and when you're sitting there on pit lane and you're mentally going through thoughts about how you're going to do this, and that's when your heart starts pumping. And now as you're going through this part where you're warming up your tires, you're kind of thinking, getting your head right for the racing part. And it's always a lot of fun going into that first turn with a bunch of other cars. That's when your adrenaline's at its peak at that point.
Absolutely. So in the previous race, if you tuned in, we were following along Taro Kashida, where he is typically one of our front runners. Today, Taro is actually starting in second position. Now, how we begin our second race in this doubleheader is based off of your fastest lap time in the previous race. So during qualifying, Taro kind of had some mishaps. He wasn't mentally prepared. That's what he was telling us beforehand, and qualified in 12th position, but he clawed his way all the way up into second position for the start of this race. But like Brad was saying, it is so imperative to be mentally prepared as you are getting in the car, putting your gloves on, putting your helmet on, and you need to mentally create a game plan and race strategy. And that's one of the things that the instructors instill in our drivers here at Autobahn, is really about that racecraft. So that way, not only can you succeed here at Autobahn, but also when you go to the outside racing series, you are in peak mental and physical condition for these very strenuous races. Now, Brad, take us through the weather conditions. Today it's very sunny. It's the sun's out. It rained this morning, kind of washing the track. But what would you do in order to not only physically prepare your car, but yourself before you take the green flag?
Well, of course, during qualifying, you get a good idea of what kind of shape the track's in, as far as if there's any slick spots or wet spots or anything you need to be concerned with. And now that you're out there again, warming up the tires, you can kind of reassess the track a little bit. There was a race earlier, so there might be some changes to the track at that point, but you're just kind of just getting yourself mentally psyched up and looking at the guys around you and trying to figure out, how you're going to approach this when the green flag flies.
All right, and speaking of getting psyched up, we are about to go green, so you too should be psyched up for the start of race number 12 of 14 in our Spec Miata series. On pole position is the 157 of Matt Alexander. Right to his left-hand side is the number 60 of Taro Kishida. In third place, Mike Bernardi and Billy Benning and Sean Varwig round out your top 5. So the lights are off on the pace car. This is going to be a 2-wave start. We have our SM2 group, which we'll be talking about later, but the pole position for SM2 in that second group of cars is going to be Art Zeismer in the 15, and Tom Bagley, hometown hero of Tom Bagley in number 3, and then Greg Sorg and Mitch Graybiel are the front two positions for the SM2. As we watch these cars come around the final corner, all eyes are going to be on the starter stand waiting for that green flag to wave. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Get on the edges of your seat because we are about to go racing here at a beautiful day at Autobahn Country Club. Waiting for that flag as the cars line up beautifully and green flag flies. Matt Alexander out in front. Can he hold off the number 60 of Taro Kishida as they dive into turn 1? Mike Bernardi looking towards the inside, makes a better use, tucking in right behind Matt Alexander. It looks like everyone's able to make it away cleanly, and they get the green flag for the SM2 class as well. It looks like Greg Sorg moves to the front of the pack there. Lee Werner trying to get into second position in that SM2 class as you see him coming down the treacherous turn 3 and into the high-speed turn 4. As we follow these cars around, it looks like Greg Sorg still out in front. Lee Werner being trailed just ever so closely behind Greg Sorg in second position for the SM2. Everyone making a very clean start, and that's one of the fantastic things about the Autobahn racers. Very clean racers, great racecraft as they are making their way down the backside of the track. And it looks like Matt Alexander opening up a lead from Taro Kishida, which is the same thing he did in the previous race. But unfortunately, Matt Alexander was passed halfway through by Mike Bernardi. As you can see, coming around turn 8 and turn 9 before they go around turn 10 into that back straightaway. That straightaway, 1,850 feet long, very, very long straightaway into a hard braking zone into turn 11. It's going to be a great opportunity for these drivers to overtake each other going into that braking zone at turn 11. Turns 12 and 13 we're looking at right now as the field snakes its way around these tricky little S's right here. And so far, this first lap, extremely clean. There you see Matt Alexander going into turn 1. Taro Kishida, Mike Bernardi, and John Jodine are the top 4 as they start pulling away from the rest of the pack. Very fast through turn 3. There is no lifting whatsoever as they come around. That's called $1 Million Corner. Down through the elevation change, you are getting a whole bunch of grip as you come through turn 4. And Matt Alexander using all of the track there as he goes through 4 and all the way through 5. Coming into turn 6, he is definitely on a mission. Matt Alexander in that 157. Mike Bernardi nipping at the heels of Taro Kishida in that silver 6-0. As we watch the rest of the pack, looks like someone's going a little off, doing an agricultural excursion there. We're going to find out which driver that is. But they get back onto the track nice and safely. And, oh, there goes a brake marker. That's an unfortunate mishap by that driver as we follow the rest of these cars through turn 8, coming down from turn 7 into turn 8, another hard braking zone. Very, very tricky. It looks like that red car is possibly Mike Ryan, who was leading the race in the SM2 category. Actually, our winner from the SM2 category was Mike Ryan. It looks like he's out in front as well. So he's going to be battling again with Greg Sorg in that all-black, brand-new Spec Miata to him. As these drivers, they are out for blood. And it looks like, oh, Mitch Graybiel, the number 17, trying to get around Billy Benning, I believe that is, as they come into 13. Yeah, 3 wide almost into turn 13. That's the last corner before the front straightaway. So these drivers already mixing things up as they come around to knock off one more lap in this race. It is already a very exciting race, and there's plenty more action to continue. But right now, let's go ahead and I'm going to kick it over to Brad Beal. He's going to talk you through, looks like the number 83 right there of Mark Stadolski in that gorgeous red and black Miata. Mark Stadolski, owner of Lindblad Construction, one of the sponsors here for our Spec Miata. So we definitely want to thank our sponsors here. Lindblad Construction and also First Bank Card is the sponsor of our SM2 category. So Brad, why don't you take it away? We're going to follow Greg Sorg and Lee Werner as they battle it out around turn 9. Tell them all about turn 10.
Turn 10, well, that's an interesting turn because that's right at the start of the long straightaway. It's funny, we were talking about Mark Stadolski. He's one of the old guys, old guard. I raced against him years and years and years ago when we first started doing Miatas, and there's a bunch of old guys. It's good to see those guys out there still racing, and you know, I kind of miss it myself. It's interesting. There's some good action there through at the end of the straightaway. Now they're coming around on the main straight here, and it's good action going on through here. There's again 3 wide coming down the center, the main straightaway, and they're going into turn 1, and I can't tell who that is right away, but.
All right, good time to focus on the lap times as well, which we're going to be putting up on your screen here momentarily. But Taro Kishida looks like he has the fastest lap time of the day so far of a 1 minute 38.4, which is besting our current leader, Matt Alexander, by 0.4 of a second. So we're going to see if he is able to make up some ground and eventually get around that all-black 157 of Matt Alexander. So good battle up at the front as you see these cars coming in from turn 6 through the kink at turn 7. Now this is all completely flat out, and then you're hard onto the brakes into turn 8 for that right-hander through turn 8, and then another right-hander into turn 9. You got to get the car settled down, slowing it down, and all the way through turn 10, which we'll see here momentarily. As we pick up some more racing action through turn 8. Great passing opportunity in turn 8. And there on your left-hand side of the screen, you are going to see turn 9. And then right there, you saw turn 10. And turn 10, again, is called patience because that is exactly what these drivers need. You need to be extremely patient going through that corner, but you want to be right there on the edge so that way you can carry as much momentum through that corner and down this back straightaway. Once again, Mitch Graybill pulling the same move, trying to get around that other driver as they come through. Mitch Graybill, unfortunately unable to make that move stick as he, rightfully so, slides back in behind his fellow competitor. All right, the field's starting to get comfortable and make their way as they get settled in. We see cars of Jim Dvorak, Mitch Graybill, Kevin Malone out there as well. Kevin Malone doing a great job. He was starting from the back of the pack. He has moved into 19th position. So pretty good day so far for Kevin Malone, but we still have 12 laps to go. This is a 16-lap dogfight for these drivers as they do battle once again on this 2.1 South Circuit here at Autobahn. Looking in the background, you see those wonderful garage mahals that are on offer here through Autobahn Realty. You can check out our website, learn more. But while you're at it, while you're on the web, be sure to like and subscribe the Autobahn YouTube page, so that way you get all this great content streaming straight to your phone or your computer, and you can sit back and watch all of the racing action that Autobahn has to offer. Speaking of racing action, we've got a whole lot more coming up in the next few weeks. We have our Oktoberfest celebration coming up October 15th, 16th, and 17th. You're going to want to either come out for that or tune in to this YouTube channel so that way you can catch all the racing action. We'll be racing everything from Spec Miatas to GT cars, Radicals, and karts. We have a chase race series and a whole bunch more. So definitely you want to be here for that, for the Oktoberfest, as we watch. It looks like the middle of the pack for the SM2 group. So we jump on over to turn 8 again. The cars are starting to thin out, but it's still anybody's game as the laps are starting to dwindle down. But people are trying to set up for passes. As you can see, Taro Kashida. Wow, Taro Kashida has definitely closed the gap between him and the leader, Matt Alexander, and Mike Bernardi. So once again, just like the previous race, these three are out in front and starting to pull away from John Jodoin. And very, very successful. Looks like Taro Kashida looking towards the inside. Can he make the move stick? No, Alexander's going to hang on ever so slightly. But, oh, wait, Taro Kashida back in the mix as they go around through turn 3. Be very careful, gentlemen. Matt Alexander holds off the onslaught from Taro Kashida. Mike Bernardi just sitting back, just waiting, biding his time, hoping that someone makes a mistake and he can just jump all over that second position or potentially take first place. It's still anybody's game as we follow these leaders around. Matt Alexander very, very fast through this back section of track, but Taro Kashida again, he must be completely focused. Maybe he was trying to play some games with his fellow drivers and telling them that he wasn't mentally prepared.
Letting them know he was there. It's letting the leader know he was right there.
Oh, that's a great
Every once in a while, you gotta stick your nose out there and let the guy in front of you know that you're out there. And so it's a little intimidation, especially if he's looking in his mirror, just trying to find out how close the second guy is. You get alongside of him there, and it gets him thinking about you rattle him a little bit because you're right there on him, and he let him know that you're out there. So.
Absolutely. There was times where I was personally racing, and you can kind of play some head games where you look in your rear view mirrors and you watch the car behind you just filling up your mirrors, and you can't technically block, but you're going to try and make your car as wide as possible, and play those games where hopefully the car in front of you makes those mistakes.
And you got to be careful because if you drive in your mirrors too much, then you will definitely make a mistake. So that's that's a little head game that the second place guy plays with you.
All right, speaking of games being played right now, you are looking at Lee Werner all over the rear bumper of Mike Kelly in that red 319. He's looking to make a move, and Mike Kelly's trying to hold him off so that way. And Jake Malter as well. So again, one more time, these competitors, they're all kind of in packs, and they all know how to play those games with each other. So Lee Werner definitely been around the block once or twice here at Autobahn. He knows this track like the back of his hand. But the newcomer, Jake Malter, looks like he's trying to make a move on Lee Werner, getting right up behind him. As they come down through the kink, is Jake going to go to the outside? No, he's just going to use all of the track, whereas Lee Werner trying to make a defensive move, holding off Jake Malter. Now, Jake, fairly new to Autobahn Spec Miata racing, but he's joined up with some of Autobahn's finest instructors, and it is really showing. He's worked with you, Brad. He's also worked with Ben Hasbrook and some of the other instructors. And let's just say that everything you guys are teaching him is starting to pay off because he's sitting pretty right now. As you saw on the starter stand, we are halfway through this race. That means that we have 8 laps remaining. as we watch the leader come flying through turn 3 and into 4. There is no lifting of that throttle whatsoever as Matt Alexander going through turn 4, Taro Kishida and Mike Bernardi. Bernardi starting to close the gap as well. Treacherous turn 5 into the light tap onto the brakes at 6. And Brad, why don't you tell them what they're doing from turn 7 all the way down into turn 11?
Well, turn 7 is interesting because you can go in a Miata, especially, you can go pretty much flat out through there. Then this is a hard braking here because you're carrying good speed up to turn 8 here, and that's a hard brake. And then you got to be careful through patience here because this is where somebody can get on you right here. And if you don't make that smooth, then you're not in good shape for turn 10 to make that straightaway, get some good speed down straightaway. So these guys are bunched up pretty good. Yeah, it's all about momentum. It's all about keeping things going. Now you see some action here. It looks like once again Taro's trying to make his move, and he's on the inside, and Matt's trying to give him some room there, and once again it was a little bit unsuccessful. It looks like again though, but it looks like yeah, all these 3 guys are packed up pretty tight, and of course the guy in the 4th position is hoping that all 3 of them kind of tangle with each other and he can maybe take over that spot. But it's this is good racing at this point. It's these 3 guys. There he goes. There's Taro on the inside once again, trying to make that move like he did last time. Looks like he's got him this time. That was successful.
All right, Taro Kishida moving up into first place, but Matt Alexander not going to give him an inch. Mike Bernardi also hanging in there as well, trying to figure out just how Taro Kishida was able to get around Matt Alexander. And look at that. It looks like they are just being towed around the track. There, you can't even put an inch between those 2 bumpers as they fight it out through turn 5. Let's see now, each driver takes a different line as Mike Bernardi kind of more in the middle of the track. Let's see how well that works out for him, keeping that momentum through from turn 6. Here's that kink at 7 that Brad was alluding to. Good opportunity to maybe come out and pass in here. Nope, everyone stays in line. And John Jodoin as well has regained the pack as well.
Yeah, the fact that these 3 guys are battling with each other let the 4th place guy catch up to them. That's the bad thing about when you're battling with each other. You kind of everybody kind of slows down a little bit. So now the 4th place guy's right there with them.
Absolutely. So this is quite a nail biter, folks. Good thing that you're tuned in because no other place can you watch such exciting racing than none other than Autobahn Country Club as Taro Kishida takes his first lap so far in the front position as, it looks like Matt Alexander was going to look to make a move into turn 13, a very unusual place to do so. Maybe he's going to try and make something happen going into turn 1. We're going to find out. Looks like, nope, everyone's going to stay in their respective position as your current leader, Taro Kishida, Matt Alexander, Mike Bernardi, and John Jodoin. Now, Bernardi is currently sitting in 3rd place. I'm sure he wishes that he was out in front because he is hoping to add to another win. He hasn't, unfortunately, had a win since 2015. Now, granted, Bernardi hasn't been racing all that much in the past few years, but man, it does not seem like that because he is right up there with some of the best and knocking bumpers with each other as they come around, and Bernardi doing extremely, extremely well. We're going to take a look one more time as they come around turn 8 and 9 as the laps are winding down. I don't know if I have any fingernails left, folks, because this is quite the race so far. All right, ladies and gentlemen, not only do we have one of our instructors, Brad Beal, here in the instructor booth, but we also have a very special guest, a former racer himself. He knows this track extremely well, and he knows these members also very well. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the esteemed privilege, and may I introduce you to our general manager, Mr. Craig Cunningham.
Good afternoon, Autobahn members. Great race today, beautiful day, and thanks to our sponsor, Haggerty, for sponsoring the member race series. Great action. These guys know how to drive. They're playing it well. I think you're going to see some smart playing here going into the last couple laps. There's going to be a few moves to be had.
Absolutely. Now, Craig Cunningham, you were a open wheel racer here at Autobahn, and one of these days we're going to get you back behind the wheel. He prefers to come out on our motorcycle events that we have here. So you're going to want to check out the Autobahn member page for all the exciting action that's coming up on track and off track. But right now, all eyes are on turn 8, and Taro Kishida, he is just hoping to hold off the onslaught from these 3 drivers. They have definitely pulled away from the rest of the Spec Miata pack, as Taro Kishida and Matt Alexander, Mike Bernardi, and John Jodoin, it looks like they are opening up about a 5-second lead over those other drivers. Now, we're taking a look at the SM2 class. SM2 is currently, looks like the number 15 of Art Zeismer, and then nipping at his heels is that all black of Greg Sorg. Sorg was moved up into second place in the previous race, and it had an unfortunate spin going through turn 12 that knocked him way down the leaderboard there. So in the SM2 category, it looks like Greg Sorg is out in front according to our timing. Mike Ryan in that 319 currently in second place for SM2, and Lee Werner in that 09 is your top 3 in the SM2 category. And there you see Greg Sorg and Mike Ryan, and also Lee Werner. So that front car, that's Art Zeismer in the 15, but all eyes on Greg Sorg, that 71 all black car, as he is your current SM2 leader. All right, Jake Malter, also, he's currently in 4th. He's going to try and improve his position as well, trying to get around Lee Werner. Lee's got experience, but Jake Malter has youth. So we're going to find out, is it youth versus experience and the gusto potentially to make things happen here? And it looks like we're back at SM Group, and John Jodoin trying to make a move on Mike Bernardi. Bernardi very, very firm in sticking in 3rd position as they come around down that front straightaway. Still, Taro Kishida opening up a bit of a gap between Matt Alexander. Is there going to be a last-minute push by Alexander? But it looks like the battle is raging on between Jodoin and Bernardi for 3rd place. Who is going to be on the podium? Who is going to take home some hardware to put on the mantle? We're going to find out in just a few laps. And it looks like we've only got 3 laps remaining. So Jodoin better make something happen pretty quick if he wants to get up on that podium.
See, it's those 2 guys battling for the 3rd position that's slowing them down. So the first 2 guys are kind of running away a little bit from them, and that's when you start battling people, that's what happens, right?
All right, so Brad, you've been in this situation many times before. Where would you make your move? And it looks like right now, Jodoin, it looks like he's trying to do something in turn 8. Can't exactly make it happen, but he's making his presence known as they go side by side into turn 9. Jodoin makes it happen in turn 9. Let's see if he can carry that momentum through turn 10 and all the way down that back straightaway. Again, he's got 1,850 feet to make it happen using all 127 horsepower that these little Miatas produce. And Bernardi looking to potentially dive into the inside, but no, Jodoin holds him off. Oh, and a little slide, and that's going to knock both of them, slow them down, but it looks like Jodoin able to hold onto that position. Great racecraft there by both of those racers. Bernardi able to get out of the way so he wasn't collected, but Jodoin with a nice little drift through turn 12.
And when your question before is like, where would you make that move? Looks like Bernardi's making another one. Oh, not quite yet though, but you size the guy up, right? The guy you're following. You're gonna follow him for a couple laps, and you're gonna determine at that point what corner is your best shot at making that pass based on how he's driving, ahead of you. So you got a lap or two behind him, and he judged it by that pass we saw. He judged that was a good place to grab that position because of the way Mike was driving ahead of time. So.
All right. Now, also on these Spec Miatas, it is crucial for the setup of these cars. Now, I personally like a little loose in the rear end, letting that back end slide out. And for me, that is just more preferable to the front end sliding out. Brad, how did you like to set up your car?
I tried to not do any sliding if I could possibly help it.
Maybe that's why you're an instructor here and you're much faster than I am. But still, there are plenty of battles going on as the war rages on, as the laps start winding down. We are again looking at turn 8, and it looks like Greg Sorg still out in front for that SM2 group. And jumping over to our leaderboard, Greg Sorg in first so far in the SM2 category. Mike Ryan in second, and Jake Malter has moved into third position, so he managed to get around Lee Werner. So a white flag is being displayed. Ladies and gentlemen, that means only one thing. There is one lap remaining in this fight. It is going to be down to the wire, and here we go as these drivers, we pick up our leaders. All right, now these leaders are going to have to compete with lap traffic, so they still have to get around, and this is an opportunity for someone in second or third position to potentially make up ground or lose ground as they try to get around these back markers. And it looks like Joe Doyen able to get around, and Mike Bernardi, yep, definitely able to get around them without any position changes as Joe Doyen and Bernardi battle it out.
You see how far they've fallen back with those two guys battling. Have really lost a lot of position from their leaders there. Battling like that helps. That's what happens.
Sometimes it's better to lose the fight and win the war, but right now we're watching Joe Doyen, and white flag still being displayed as the checkered flag is about to come out here on our leader. And double checkers wave for your victor, Taro Kashida. So what a Cinderella story. Taro Kashida qualified in 12th position to win this last race. Great drive by Taro Kashida. And it looks like unofficially we had Taro Kashida in first place. Now, granted, all of these cars have to go through tech, but Taro Kashida, Matt Alexander, and John Jodoin move into third position. So they're going to be taking some trophies home this afternoon. What a great race that we had. And it's still going on for the SM2 class as they come down. SM2 sponsored by First Bank Card. And it looks like Greg Sorg is going to win the SM2 class, followed by Mike Ryan and Jake Malter, the youngster. He's going to be up on the podium as well. So once again, great day. Thank you for tuning in to all the exciting racing here at Autobahn. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you for the next race of Oktoberfest. My name's Kyle Nato. This is Brad Beal.